Today, we're talking about Stellar Lumens or XLMUSD. I know we haven't talked about this particular asset before, so this is the first time we're going to be talking about it. And in all fairness, I should have spoke about this instead of Solana. But anyways, here we are. We're going to be discussing XLMUSD. So with that said, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn on the notification, and you drop us a like. Why would you want to do that? Well, point blank and simply is I'm pointing you to the way of the bag, right? There are many things that you could subscribe to that doesn't help you. This is one of those things that will help you. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I'm just saying that the information I'm sharing with you will definitely is aimed at helping you secure the bag. So, as our good friend yesterday pointed out, he put in zip up their bag. That's right. Zip up their bag. That's what I'm hoping you do. Zip that bag up. You know what I mean? Take the loot. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn on the notification, and you drop us a like. And with all of that said and done, we're going to get straight into the business of today, which is XLMUSD or Stellar Lumens. So first things first, big shout out to you. If you was in before Sunday the 3rd of November. So if you was in before Sunday the 3rd of November, well done to you. You definitely got the bag and you have zipped up the bag, right? So whether you got out or you're still in, right? You definitely zipped up the bag. And that's all we're interested in, getting that bag zipped all the way up, right? Right. And also as well, as we can see with this push to the upside, and obviously it's come back down a little bit, right? And it looks like it's created a bit of a channel in this area. So we can see a channel in this area. I will draw it all out in a moment, right? Not too long. We're just going to just keep it like this for now. We can see that, okay, it's giving us the vibe that it might want to break down. But I will say, don't worry too much about that. I'll say, don't worry too much about that because XLM is one of those crypto assets, right, that literally has a good use case idea as to why it's around. So XLM, in my opinion, is the same as XRP, right? So they're on the same kind of level in terms of there is a definite use case for them, right? And the future, in terms of future money, future transactions, future everything, they're going to play a role. I don't know about Bitcoin, but I do know that in the future, say 20 years from now, am I expecting to see XLM and XRP still doing business in the world? Absolutely. Bitcoin, I don't know. Right? Because besides people having faith in it, it's not really doing anything, right? That's in my opinion anyways. So with that said and done, we're just going to point out areas of concern for us, especially if you're thinking about getting back into XLM, like areas of interest where you could actually get back in. So we're just going to look at that to see if we can spot these moves for now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on my trusted anchored profile. Is that it? Yep, there it is. And we're going to take it from the top side and we're going to drop it all the way down here. Okay. So at the moment, the launchpad area, we can see price has already left from there. Okay, so that is this area right here. Price has already left. And a few days ago, if you was able to get it over here, that would have been great. Okay, but at the same time, it's not all bad news. It's not all bad news, right? So let's see what else we got going on. So as it stands, okay, so before I even do all of that, I'm going to assume this is the first time you are stumbling across this channel. And if it is the first time you're stumbling across this channel, I'm going to work off the fact that some of the things I might start talking about you might not know. So just to help give you a heads up, we're just going to talk about what we're kind of doing right now. So as it stands, I have applied a volume profile to the chart. This is the volume profile, right? Now, inside of this volume profile, we have two areas of interest to us. Two areas broken up into three sections, but they're two areas, right? The first area, most important area, is the high value area. This is this area right here. This area right here is the high value area, right? This is the area of most interest to us. And then the other areas are the low value areas, and they're right here. So this is a low value area right here, and this is a low value area up here. Okay, low value areas. Now that we've got in these three areas kind of figured out, we're going to talk about how I like to use the volume profile. So how I like to use the volume profile is I will use the low value node areas to act as my resistance and support levels. That's how I like to use the volume profile. So some people will use the high value nodes. What are the high value nodes? These are the high value nodes. High value nodes, high value nodes. And there isn't so much high value nodes in the other places, but roughly those are the high value nodes. And the low value nodes are these areas right here. Anywhere we can see like a clear indentation of market, this is the low value node area. So low value node, low value node, low value node, and a massive low value node up here. Okay. So, and finally, we have point of control. This is where the vast majority of investors into XLM or any other assets are locking in their orders. This is where they are all sitting, regardless of whether they're buying or selling. They are sitting at this level. Okay, all of it is located at this level. Now, I could go into it more, but these are things that we'll discuss as we move forward with the analysis, because volume profile is part and parcel of the analysis that we do, right? So we're going to be talking a lot more about it, and obviously as I'm talking about it, hopefully that will be helping you see how I like to use volume profile, and you might come up with your own way as to how you would like to use volume profile. There is no correct answer, there is no wrong answer, just so long as whatever you're doing is working for you, that's all that matters. Okay, so another thing that I've also identified when using volume profile is that market likes to swing from the high side of the high value area, which is this, to the low side of the high value area, which is down here, and vice versa. So it likes to bounce in between this zone, right? So for example, if we can, like as we can see right now, right, we can see that there is a low value node area right here, and price has gone into it, right? So the low value node area is price went outside of it, right? So let's just expand this, make this a little bit bigger, because it is a lot bigger than that. So this is the low value node area if you really want to encompass everything, right? So as you can see, price went all the way into it. Price has peaked outside of it. Price went back into it. Price came back out into the point of control, which is this level over here, and now price is now back at it again, right? Now if I was thinking about placing a trade into Stellar XLM, right, this is where I would want to do it from, right? I would want to do it from this area right here, right? And I will cover down here with my stop if you're the kind of person that uses stops. Not everybody in the trading market likes to use stops. I love stops, right? But some don't. So here's what it is. So I would lock in my trade at this level right here, right? And then what I will then do is then I would then wait to see if price climbs all the way back up to the top side. And as you can see on the top side right here, we have another low value node. Okay, another low value node. This particular tool, it is great for when market starts ranging. So when market goes into a range, if you have volume profile on your chart, when market starts ranging, there is a high probability that you're going to be able to ride that whole situation and win, right? This is one of the best tools. Like, I can't stress how good this tool is, right? And if you're not using it, I strongly recommend you do get it, because on the free version of TradingView, you can get the volume profile. So you can get a fixed volume profile and anchored volume profile as part of the free package. And then you get additional variants of the volume profile if you have the paid version, right? So I have the paid version. I encourage you to get the paid version, but not everyone can get the paid version. So in order to help you get to the position of being able to get the paid version, let's use the free version of volume profile for now, and to help us get to where we need to get to. So that's how you use it, right? The volume profile. So if I was to take a move right now, I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. I'll be making a move right here. I'll be putting in a buy right here. Yes, there are a couple areas of concern that we need to be mindful of. So that is this, especially if I'm buying, right? We have this low value node area right here, okay? And we can see price rejected off it, right? So price rejected off the low value node, hence why it is where it is. And then we have another low value node area up here as well. As a matter of fact, I will count this whole thing as one. Let me get rid of this for now. Just to save this thing from looking too busy, I will count this whole thing here as one, right? As one giant low value node area. So, should XLM move from this location, right? So if XLM decides that it wants to move from this location where it is right now to head up here, okay? Basically, when it gets into this zone, rather than reject, it's going to move very fast all the way through it. It's going to go parabolic all the way through it and slow down when it gets about here. And then make his way up here. And then we can decide, obviously, if it's going to come down or not. But that is what it's most likely going to do. Right? And then at this point, this is where you turn around and you're like, wait, hang on a minute. But this is an ascending channel. It basically means price is going to break down. And I'll be like, you know what? You're right. It is an ascending channel. And in most cases, it does mean that price is going to break down. But however, if you've been in this game for any period of time, you would know that this is not a biblical market structure that produces the same results over and over and over and over again. This has an 80% chance that market will break down. Okay, 80% chance market will break down and go that way. 80%. I'm not going to knock that, right? But however, there is that 20% chance, and we've seen that a lot of times. 20% chance that, you know what it does? It just goes like that. It just goes like that, right? So when I combine this structure over here, right, with the low value node area that is currently in right now, with how overall this whole thing here behaves, right, I'm more likely to believe that price is going to do this, supposing to doing that, right? So as it stands, if I get a bounce from this level right here, right now, which is, you know what? We're just going to keep it real simple, right? We're going to keep it real simple. Right? We'll just say this, right? We just keep it simple. A nice little logical way of doing things that everyone can get behind, right? So we just say this. If it takes out this level right here, if it takes out this swing high, well, a mini swing high. As a matter of fact, no, let's make it even stronger, right? Let's make it even stronger. So this swing high is what we're going to be targeting. This swing high right here, okay? So let's say if we get a close, right, above 30 cents, okay, it is fair to assume that we can lock in and ride it to the upside. Yes, it is going to be in this zone right here, right, which has a higher probability that price will be moving very fast in this area. If you don't want to take that and you want to take another move, you could say, okay, if we get a close above 29 cents, okay, I will lock in. And then at this point, you can then cover this area here as your stop if you use stops, right? So that would be what? That would be 24 cents. So 24 cents near about, that will be your stop. 29 will be your entry. And then we'll just wait to see if we get that move all the way to the upside. But only once we have the confirmation the price actually wants to go up. And we'll get that confirmation when we clear 29 cents. So with that said and done, if you have stayed with me up until now, you definitely owe me a subscribe. So you should hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Like I said, I am helping, assisting, guiding with what I know, right? Because you might not have seen these moves I'm talking about, hence why I'm bringing it to your attention. So with what I know, this might help you obviously get to the bag, zip up the bag, etc. So hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like, and I will see you all on the next one.